And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another video game review, and today I am reviewing God of War. I know I just reviewed God of War, but I'm reviewing the other God of War, the actual first God of War game. Came out in 2005. Yes, the series is 20 years old, which a lot of people probably don't realize. They only think that the two games exist, the 2018 one and then Ragnarok. No, fact, there's two other entries in this series that I'll be reviewing in the future. So there you go. Fun to look forward to. But yeah, I didn't even know this game existed. I mean, I knew God of War as a franchise had existed for a long time. I didn't know it started on the PS2, and I never really had heard much about the first game. But gave it a try. I actually gave it a try on the remastered version on the PS3. So there you go. So not the actual original version. This is a quote unquote remastered version. Anyways, I got a lot of thoughts on it. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? First off, I can't talk much about this game without first mentioning its age. Because this game, like Mario 64, but not as severely, has not aged very well. In many aspects. This game is incredibly buggy. And again, I'm playing the remastered version on PS3, and it's still pretty buggy. Not even close to the buggiest or most unplayable game that I've ever played. It's very serviceable, and in fact, in some aspects, it does still hold up pretty well. The combat, I think, is really, really good. It's a little simplistic, but I think it does the job, especially for the time the game came out. I think, but where it gets really buggy is a lot of times when you have to do very specific moves or do very specific combos in order to finish enemies off or to unlock stuff or to collect things or to go places or to traverse the world, it doesn't work that great. You have to line it up just so, and even so, it doesn't work very well. Where this is a big issue is when you're on these like poles or cliff sides where there's like very thin, narrow area that you're trying to cross, and it's supposed to be like tight roping, and you could fall off pretty easily, very easily in some cases, in fact, because obviously it's raining, so obviously it's supposed to be slippery. But even with the controller going dead straight, with the joystick going dead straight on the controller, like even sometimes Kratos would just like fall off, and yeah, that could be like controller drift. That could be something with the controller, like I said. But for how consistently it happened, I don't think that was the case. Now, they do have the recovery thing. It's pretty easy just to save yourself from falling off, so it's not a huge deal, but it really just slows it down. It makes what should be, a fairly quick crossing take a lot longer than it should. It's a little annoying. And the puzzles are stupid. I can tell that they changed nothing with the puzzles from 2005 to 2018. A lot of these puzzles are stupid. Where places you go, things you do, it's just really stupid because they established some like in 2018 God of War, some stuff that looks like you should be able to do stuff with, you can't, but then they change it up so that you can, and but it doesn't help that like the camera angles are so bad in this game. Like, okay, I get what they were going for with some of these, like these top-down views, or where Kratos is running at you, so you're like looking the opposite direction. You're looking behind Kratos as he's running towards you instead of the other way around. It doesn't work at all. It's very outdated. The top-down views were especially very outdated because, and they changed the axes that the controls work on as well on a dime. So you could be going one way and the camera flips and you turn around and you go back, and so then the axis flips again. So you got to go back and then you got to like change it in time before the game decides to flip it around, and it's really stupid. And I'm just like, why did they do this? Even like 2005 standards, like games before this one did it right. Why PlayStation games before this did it right? Why is it such? Why did they have to do it this way now? Doesn't make any sense to me. And also like the button pressing, button mashing for special combos or finishing moves on bosses and other enemies. It was super aggressive. Like I actually legitimately could not get it to go with my thumb. Like it was that fast. I had to switch my index finger to do this just to be able to get it right because it was so aggressive for no reason, really. I mean, like, yeah, like they want to be fast, that's kind of the point, but a little too fast. You know what I gotta say? It was one of the more difficult and frustrating aspects of the game because you could get set back pretty far in a fight by just not doing a very specific button combination. And there was ones where it's like you have to press different button each time and go like really fast and whatnot. There was those too, but like those were fine, I guess. But it's just like it was the mashing ones that I didn't really like. And one thing I really liked about this game though was Kratos. This Kratos puts new Kratos to absolute shame. I mean, this guy was getting everything. I mean, yeah, he doesn't look as strong. Yeah, he's a lot skinnier, doesn't look as strong, not nearly as intimidating of a character as he would become. But holy crap, this guy has some really funny moments and one-liners and just really savage things going on. Like, how about when they're in the beast of that snake thing, the dragon, and he finds the captain of the ship so he can get the key. And then the captain's like, "Thank God you came back for me." And he's like, "I didn't come back for you." And just throws him into the belly of the dead beast. I'm just like, what the fuck? That was insane. Why did he do that? That was crazy. So savage. So savage. And he was getting some action. Probably the most unexpected thing to find in this game was sex mini games. Yes. Probably, if you've heard about these games at all, you probably know about this. Yeah, there's just like little mini games that you can do where he just gets his freak on. Is a good way to put it. And it's actually a mini game and you get XP for doing it. Okay. That was awesome. Awesome part of the game. What can I say? I loved it. So yeah, that whole nudity aspect and sex mini games I was definitely not expecting. Can't say I'm disappointed. That's really all I gotta say about this game. The story's fine. It's a fine story. I enjoyed it. I like the cutscenes. There was like the underlying tones, all that sort of stuff. I thought it was a good story. It doesn't compare to the 2018 game, in my opinion. I think that's 2018 game's biggest strong suit over the older games so far. At least I got 2 more left to play. Is the story. But really, I think it did most of everything else better. Except maybe the combat and some traversal stuff. I thought I really liked this Kratos more badass in my opinion, more raunchy, just crazy but awesome. And yeah, I mean it's more Arkham style combat too. Well, and I guess it's still Arkham, but less where you need to do a lot of blocking. Like you don't lose a lot of health very fast in most cases, especially if you just keep attacking. So in a way, I guess I could say the game is a little too easy. I did end up turning on easy difficulty for some stuff like the Medusa fights, or the Medusa fight, and then all the other like mini Medusas. So just because they're fucking difficult as shit. They're really the only ones that really fuck you over on easy difficulty, because they turn you to stone. But other than that, I didn't think the combat was too hard. But obviously some battles where you gotta know what you're doing at least. So not a terrible video game. Didn't have a lot of didn't really have any expectations at all going in, but can't say I was pleasantly surprised. But it was all right. If you've played the 2018 God of War and Ragnarok, I would recommend going back and playing this game. I think you'll find some enjoyment out of it. It's not a super long game. I think you'll have a good time. So that's gonna do it though for this review. For my final score for God of War 2005, I'm gonna have to give it a good 6. 5.5. We'll go 5.5. 5.5. There we go. It's gonna do it though for this review. If you've played God of War, I'm gonna call it God of War 1 or God of War 2005, whatever you want to call it, I guess. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. It's gonna do it with this video as well, so stay tuned for other much more amazing content, including more video game reviews and other awesome stuff. And until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.